Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Postgame Pints podcast with myself, Mitch Gallo. You can read my name on the screen if you're watching online or if you're listening on a podcast page. That's why I'm telling you what my name is. I'm with Sean Campbell, who is to my left if you're watching on the screen, but to my right since I am facing the screen.
Yeah.
And we are brought to you by LaBrosse Brewery and Cunningham's Pub. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to episode 104.
104. Welcome to the bedroom, too. This is where the magic happens, my friend.
Hey now.
Hey. See my Anthony Calvillo in the back?
Very nice.
Yes. Big fan of Anthony Calvillo. But yeah, just at the same time, we got lots to get to. We got a rapid fire random sports thoughts and a pop quiz, and a big shout out to our good friends at LaBrosse, Cunningham's Pub, and everybody that helps put this together. And I know that you and I have been busy with the Three Horsemen podcast as well. And we're keeping everybody appraised to some betting lines. So stay tuned. Check that out. If you like the Post Game Pints podcast, check out the Three Horsemen podcast, our collab with Sean Starr and Car in the Star in the Car doesn't work. Star in the Car.
Sean, let's get right into the rapid fire if we can. And there's a lot to talk about this week in both the camp of the Montreal Canadiens and general hockey talk as well. So I want to get started with the Canadiens because we have seen Justin Barron a couple times now, and we will see Jordan Harris moving forward. So your thoughts on the two newbies on the Canadiens blue line?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know much about either of them. I remember Justin Barron with Team Canada, and I know that everybody's excited because he was paired with Caden Gooley. But in the Colorado Avalanche, playing in the AHL, they're taking their time with this first round pick. Go through the process. I think the Canadians have the same plan for Justin Barron. They want to, give him the taste of the NHL. This is what it's like. This is what your goals should be. I've watched him 2 games. Is he an NHL defenseman right now? Let him marinate. I preach patience when it comes to these players, Mitch. I always have when it comes to young defensemen, and he's looked solid, absolutely. And the Canadians have a bunch of young defensemen, but let's be honest, how many of them will be in the Canadians lineup? And not to say that they'll be competitive, but just for their own good. Because if they have 4 rookie defensemen next year, and they want to bring in Gooley and Norlinder and Barron and Harris, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, they're not going to be very good, and that's probably not good for their development. So I think they really have to make sure that they stagger it properly. I like that they're giving him a little bit of a taste, but I'm hoping for Barron's sake that he'll be back in Laval by the end of this season and next season. But I've liked what I saw. I think he skates well. He's a big body, and it's a good get in a trade for Lehkonen. As for Harris, for me, it's wait and see. I know that you're coming out of college. It looks good, and he's older. That's nice. He had 21, and a lot of these kids can just jump up a little bit faster. But to me, I just don't know. I want to see him play pro. I've seen him play a couple games in Northeastern, but not enough to sit here and tell you, oh, he's going to be a power play guy. I don't think you could do that with a guy like that yet. I think you really have to wait and see. But everything I hear about the character of the player, I like that it's a later round draft pick that is marinated at the NCAA level. There was no doubt he was going to sign with the Canadians. He's come with the Canadians. He's going to get his 20 games or 15 games of the rest of the season. This is a great situation for him, but he might be in Laval next year as well with Justin Barron, and I'm fine if that's the case. But so far, I think this is pretty exciting times for the back end of the Montreal Canadiens.
See, that's just it, Sean. And you talk about those guys playing at the American Hockey League level. I have no problem with your opinion there. To me, all experience is good. So for Harris, for instance, he has the experience playing college. That's good. That's experience. That's life experience. And I'm sure he took his studies seriously. Played an extra year at college than maybe people were expecting, that he was going to come out after 3 years. So he's older, like you said, 21, experience. Now, experience games at the NHL level right off the bat. And then towards the end of the season, maybe experience some American Hockey League games too. Play games, be with the team, ride the plane with the team, live that NHL lifestyle. I think that's crucial for these two guys to really know, So the way I look at it is these guys are with the team now. Sean, there's only a month to go.
Yeah.
So you let them really taste that NHL lifestyle for a month, and then you let them sit on those thoughts for the summer. And, I don't know how they're going to react, but if I'm one of those guys and I get that taste of that NHL lifestyle, I don't want to ride the bus. I want to be with that team full time. I want to make the big money, sure, but also I want to be an NHL player. And that, I think, can motivate you and drive you when you're in your offseason training. Not to say that they're not motivated enough already, but I think everything that you could pull from will make you a better player in the end.
I do think that the Canadians have to be open with them, though. You can't, kind of have these promises and then they don't come to fruition. As an organization, you have to be very open. You earn your spot. An opportunity this year. We'll take a look, but realize that we're going to be patient with a lot of our young guys. Even if they're ready, we might hold them back and just realize, let them marinate a little bit. And if that's your plan and you have that, make sure they know that too. But let them know that if there's an opening and you're better than the other guy, that you could get that spot. I don't want any broken promises. And we're still learning about this new management team. Everything seems great. It seems that they're open, they're honest, they're upfront. But we've seen it with other organizations where players are told one thing, they get opportunity, and then they're pushed down, and then they're just walling away in the minor leagues. Being in the minors is not a bad thing at the ages that they're at right now.
Sean, next up on the rapid fire, what does the future hold for Petry and Drouin?
This is a big one because these were the two players that I wanted to see down the stretch. And not that it would have made a difference for their future with the Canadians, but it would have made a difference of how they can deal with them. Right? Like if Jonathan Drouin was able to click under Martin St. Louis, we've seen in 20 games, players click and it works. But we're really not going to be able to see that. And Jeff Petry, we know that it's kind of a broken relationship between Montreal and the Petrys, and Jeff Petry wants out. The Canadians are going to accommodate him if it works for them, but let's be honest, Jeff Petry might be at training camp next year because there's not a deal to be made. And it's a big contract, it's for long term, and he wasn't very good this year. And I thought it was pretty disappointing that he was done for the year because it just at least showcase yourself, personal pride. Maybe you just want to, forget about it. So for me, I'm not sure how this plays out for either of them, but I've already started mapping out next year for the Canadians and what they want to do on the blue line. I don't have Jeff Petry there. I think for some way, somehow, they're going to be able to move him this summer. Jonathan Drouin's another story. Now, where he's at, where his head's at, where his injury's at, I don't know if the Canadians, if they want to move on from him, can move on from him until the deadline next year. I think that's the timeline for him. I think that's the easy if they want to move from him. If not, then plays out his contract and we'll see where the Canadians are at.
Look, I think Petry's as good as gone this summer. I think if they had more racetrack near deadline time, they would have made that move already.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's much easier to do in the summer when teams' salary cap situations are different. Many teams will have expiring deals. So I think the Canadians did well to hold on and not force a trade in the short term when he could just play out the final stretch here with the Canadians, whether he's on the injured list or on the ice. And then, you figure it out in the summer. He's gone, Sean. He will not be a Montreal Canadian for opening day next year. I can guarantee you that. Drouin, I think you're right. I find it almost comical that many fans out there, and maybe this even blends into the media, have suggested that maybe the Canadians buy out Jonathan Drouin. I really don't see a point to doing that in the final year of his contract. I don't think he's very desirable in a trade with an opposing team, and I don't think trading him in the final year and retaining money on the contract makes sense either. If you're going to be paying him $2.5 million, half of his cap, to play for somebody else, I don't think that makes sense. The buyout, again, you're just paying him to do nothing.
Just wait it out if you're going to buy him out. Just wait it out.
It's not like you're a contending team looking to add pieces and need to scrape and claw for every piece of salary cap you can find. No, I'm with you. I think you hold on to Drouin from now until deadline next year. And even if deadline next year there's no takers, you just let the contract expire and then let him figure things out in free agency, and you freed up $5.5 million on your cap for 2024. I mean, that's how I look at it with Drouin.
Yeah, I think just the whole thing, and I'm with you on Drouin, so I don't know if we need to discuss it anymore. But just with Petry, just with the fact that Ken Hughes has been very upfront saying if there's not a deal for that makes sense to us, we're not going to deal you. Because I still think Jeff Petry can be a serviceable player for the Canadians. I think he's a lot better than he's shown this year. I don't think he's at the end of this line. I think that there's still hockey there. I'm not sure what happened. Whatever personal reasons that he was going through, it affected him on the ice. We've seen that happen before. Mitch, let's go back. Was it 2016 with Andrei Markov? When he had a lot of, and no one knew what it was, that what he was going through, and it showed on the ice. And then everybody realized what he was going through when it became public, with the mother of his first children passing away, and he had to take over, and they were living out in Russia, and they were trying to bring him. I mean, of course he couldn't play hockey. And I'm not saying that that's the kind of thing that's happening to Jeff Petry, but we don't know everything that's happening with him. So I'm going to be patient again on that and think that everything that he's gone through, and a lot of people have gone through a lot of things in the last 2 years, and we don't need to go through that list. So I think that there's still hockey there if he's able to sort his personal life out, if that's connected. But, we don't know. But I'm with you. I think he's likely gone. But it does seem that the Canadians are holding out hope, if there's no deal, that he's going to show up at training camp. They're not going to just sit him out. They'll be part of the group if they can't trade him, and they'll keep trying to trade him.
They will trade him.
I believe so, too. Final one for the rapid fire, Mitch. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. When it comes to the NHL playoffs and the front runners, is it Florida, Colorado? Who else are the front runners? At least
Florida shouldn't be a front runner.
No?
Not in my mind. They don't play defense. Game's going to change in the playoffs. That team's going to get exposed, Sean. Not because of their talent, but because of the way they play. You can't play that way and win the Stanley Cup.
Does that open things up for teams like Carolina and Tampa Bay?
Carolina, I think, is the team to beat. That is the team that scares me the most. I think they play the style most conducive to winning in the playoffs. I think there's no weakness on that team. I think they're very well coached, and I think they're going to go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. I picked them last year. I think maybe I was a year early. A lot of those young players too, Sean, Svechnikov, Aho,
just older.
They're now entering their prime. Last year was a learning process for them. I think they upgraded in goal from last year, getting Anderson instead of Nedeljkovic in there. I know you're not a big Anderson believer, but I think on this team, he's the perfect thing for them.
Well, let's just hold on that, because I said I didn't like Anderson when he had a defense core like Toronto in front of him. I didn't like that. I have no problem with Anderson with the defense core in Carolina in front of him. Let's just be honest. And I think that he's just better protected. But at the same time, you're right. He's better than having that young goaltender. He's got a little bit more experience. He's been through some. It's a good fit. It's a good fit for Carolina, Freddie Anderson. Go.
And again, we could argue about this. I don't think it's the defense core in Toronto that's the problem there. I think on the blue line, they have good players. I think it's the style of play. I think it's much like Florida. You can't play that way and win the Stanley Cup. I look at the play, and I don't want to get caught up on Toronto, but Austin Matthews turning over the puck to Byron at the end of the game last Saturday. It's a perfect example, Sean. Curling back, and turning over the puck instead of making a simple chip play into the corner when the game's tied with under 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
these are the things that burn you. You try to force a play.
By the way, I like the additions they did on the blue line, by the way. Labushkin, I think that's a nice little fit. Giordano with the experience, we'll see how much he rolls in, and then whenever Muzzin gets healthy, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Muzzin, Brody, Riley.
Yeah, it's much better than they've had in years past.
I think the personnel's fine. Again, it's style to me.
Yeah, Florida, but they didn't have that core last year. They didn't have that core last year.
Yeah, even last year though, they still had they lose Muzzin in Game 6, so you have to take him out of the equation. But they still had Brody, Muzzin, Riley. Hall I think is fairly solid. And then you don't really play your bottom pair that much. Anyways, Toronto's a pretender. Florida doesn't play the right style. It's Carolina or Tampa. Not going to discount Tampa. Sean, I know this might be stupid, but the only reason I'm going to say no to Tampa is because how hard it is to win 3 times. It's hard to win once.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
It would be 3 times. To me, is all that hockey going to catch up to them? That's my question mark.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think still Tampa is the front runner. I think Carolina's right there. I think Florida's there too because I do think they can outscore themselves out of some situations against some of these teams. But when you get to the second round and they may have to face Tampa, I'm taking Tampa. I don't know what there's a matchup in the East that I won't take Tampa in. I don't know if there is, Mitch. And then if we go the West, Calgary. I know that you're not big on them. To me, it's Colorado, Calgary. Where's Minnesota in the mix? You got the Kings that are there. Edmonton's not really. They're a pretender with everything that they've gone through. I don't know if you're looking at anything out west that you think could stir the pot other than Colorado.
It's Colorado. It's Colorado. The only thing that could swing the Western Conference would be a significant injury. Look, McKinnon didn't play in the game against Calgary the other night. Landeskog is only coming back at playoff time. If they don't have those two players for whatever reason, then it's a completely different thing. But if it's health, if the Colorado Avalanche are healthy, they are the team to beat in the West, and it's not close.
Do you have any surprise teams, or you think it's just going to be a contender?
I like Minnesota. I really like the Minnesota Wild, Sean. I think that's a team that people sleep on. I think they have a balance of experience blended with some young, dynamic players. I think they're pretty well coached. I like their style for playoff hockey. They got the goalie now with a lot of experience. I'm not saying Minnesota's going to win, but I wouldn't sleep on them.
I wouldn't sleep on Dallas either. Dallas is the kind of team that could just get hot and just go. And you know what? Something about Pittsburgh. But again, if anybody runs into Tampa Bay, I'm still taking Tampa Bay. So. You want to do some random sports thoughts?
Sure.
All right.
Got some tunes for us or what?
Yeah, I'll figure this out. I think I like this one. You like that one?
That's all right. Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to start things off? Random sports thoughts. You could send yours here on the Post Game Pints podcast, Campbell and Gallo. Thank you, LaBrosse.
I'm going to try to hammer these out fairly quickly here.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, you said you were going to start.
Oh, okay. I thought you said sure. I'm going to hammer these out. I think the more I think about it, because I've been trying to figure this out, and I've been talking about this lately, because Jesse Ylonen has been called up to the Canadiens. I think Jesse Ylonen can be Lehkonen in a couple of years. There's a couple similarities. They both came in as offensive players. Lehkonen, everybody thought he was going to be a 20 goal scorer. Skate well. They're smart players. And Lehkonen didn't turn into a defensive player until year 2, 3, 4 when he would start going that direction. Maybe that's the path. Ylonen will come in, score 15 to 18. Everyone think 20. The next thing you know, he'll just be stuck there at 13. And you're like, oh, maybe he's defensive because he's smart. He skates well. And then 5 years in his career, he's going to be a defensive guy that'll score you 15 goals a year. Maybe there is some similarities between the two. I've been thinking about it. I think there's more similarities there than we can kind of muster. I think it's close.
I have to watch Ylonen a little bit more to know if he's as smart positionally as Lehkonen is.
He's a smart player.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. I want to see more though.
Yep.
Sean, my first random sports thought. It's a very easy one. Mm-hmm. Hockey's stupid. That is my thought. And we're talking about the favorites to win the Stanley Cup: Carolina, Tampa Bay, Colorado. Watch a team like LA go on and win the cup because hockey is stupid. You could watch a game and the team that's supposed to win doesn't win. There's so many variables in hockey that it is stupid.
Well, we had a pop quiz the other day where I asked you, name me the teams that won the President's Trophy and won the Stanley Cup in the last 17 years. There's only 2 that's won both. It just doesn't happen. The best team doesn't always win, which makes hockey fun. Maybe stupid, but it's fun.
It's stupid.
Can I throw a little soccer love?
Sure.
Out there?
Yeah.
You watched that?
The highlights of it.
And in the highlights, you see Stachio and then waiting for the play, and then his reaction. It might be my favorite GIF of all time now. I love it. I don't know. It's like my favorite GIF. I love it.
There's nothing wrong with a good GIF.
Yeah.
My second one, Sean. I'm gonna throw a little baseball your way.
Oh, okay.
I think that Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom in New York with the Mets will be the greatest 1-2 punch in baseball history.
How many wins?
Between the two of them?
Yeah.
36.
44.
44. So you're as high on the duo as I am. Maybe even more so.
Well, we know the analytics that come in and it's killed the starting pitcher, but sometimes when you have a gem, you got to run with the gem.
Those guys deal, man. I've seen some great staffs. Maybe no better 1-2 punch than Schilling and Johnson in the late 90s. I like that Marlins rotation with Josh Beckett, Burnett, and Willis. They're very good in San Francisco with Bumgarner and Lincecum. Like, we've seen some good staffs.
Yeah.
But as far as 1-2 punches is concerned, I think Scherzer is one of the best pitchers of all time, and I think DeGrom is the best pitcher in the game now. It's all about health also, but I can't wait to watch the Mets.
All right, my final random sports thought, going to the world of WrestleMania, Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
WrestleMania coming up early April, 2nd and 3rd, 2-night, stupendous extravaganza, whatever it is. Surprise me. WrestleMania, can you please surprise me? Seth Rollins has a mystery opponent that everybody says is Cody Rhodes. Stone Cold is not in a match. He's doing the KO show with Kevin Owens. I know everyone's going to get excited. There's going to be a stunner beer drinking, but can we do it in a way that I'm surprised? Can Cody Rhodes show up in a way that I am surprised? Can the element of the wow, the moment still happen, even though I know everything that's going to happen? Can that happen at WrestleMania? That's just, it's a thought, it's a question. I don't know, Mitch.
The Cody Rhodes thing is a thing?
Yeah.
People believe this?
100%.
I don't see it.
So then who's Seth Rollins facing?
Who is Seth Rollins
facing? He's facing mystery opponent.
Yeah, I know. Who hasn't been around in a while? Who's been injured? Who's been off the card?
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is part of another promotion.
No, he left. You don't know that whole thing?
No.
He has no contract. He's a free agent. He's been a free agent for 3 months. They've been expecting him on Monday Night Raw. He walked away.
Didn't he create AEW?
He's out of AEW, man.
Nah, it's all work.
Maybe. I still think, by the way, that Cody leaving WWE and creating AEW is a work from Vince. I don't know. Cody and Jericho, this is all a work. This is all Vince's idea.
Everything's a work.
That's how I like it.
Just my final one. Shout out to the Savannah Bananas. I was talking to Bill Lee, and this guy's just incredible. And he came out of this is very wrestling like.
So no, I saw this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He comes out of the crowd drinking a beer to the mound, and proceeds to strike somebody out when the guy's in his mid-70s.
Yeah, and he used the Ephus pitch.
He used a version of the Ephus pitch, yes.
Yes, he did. I saw the video.
Shout out to the Savannah Bananas. I believe he's still going to start like 10 more games for them.
Yeah, and by the way, I watched Savannah Bananas, and I'm like, that's exactly what the Caribou should do.
That's exactly what baseball should be.
Yes, it should. That is a random sports thoughts. Take the music off, I think. Yeah, there we go. Ready to get to a pop quiz, Mitch?
Yep. I'll go first since you went first with the random sports thoughts.
Sure.
Sean, I think mine is fairly easy.
Okay.
Do
you need pen and paper?
I have a list of 5 here, and since I think it's fairly easy, bonus points so you could go in order.
Oh, okay.
All I'm looking for right now, because we hear so much about how great Mark St. Louis is.
Yes.
Top 5 most wins as a coach in Canadians history.
Top 5 most wins in Canadians history.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty.
Number 3.
Okay, well, I did in order. Toe Blake.
Number 1.
Claude.
Number 5.
All right. How long was he there? What years was he there? Let's see. Let's go with the Mariners.
Not a correct answer.
No, he wasn't there long enough. Pearl?
Nope.
Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
You're missing one Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
The number 2 spot, and
Clearly.
and the number 4. I think you could get it if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, if Claude is 5, like, where's Michel on that list?
He's 4, and
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I wasn't sure if Michel was 6 or 4. That's why. Like,
it's the reason I
Yeah.
wanted to throw this pop quiz out there, because Michel Therrien had his fair share of haters.
oh no, but he won.
Can you imagine? He is 4th all time in victories as a Montreal Canadiens head coach.
Who's the guy I'm missing? It's from the 80s, right?
Nope, before that.
70s?
Before
Or
that.
60s? So, Irvin?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going way back. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you see, Terry, I was going to say him right away, but then you were said in order, and then when I said Julien and you said 5, I was like, did Julien or Terry have more? Like, do you know what the difference is between the two?
I don't remember what the exact difference,
Okay.
but it's a handful of games. It's not that much.
No, I remember they were close. I just couldn't remember who finished one of the other. All right, my pop quiz for you. It's going to make it really complicated, but I'm going to simplify it, Mitch. Can you name me the 8 players active in the NHL that have multiple 100-point seasons? 8 players in the National Hockey League that have multiple 100-point seasons.
There is only 8?
There's only 8 active NHL players with multiple 100-point seasons.
Crosby.
6, number 1.
Ovechkin.
4. It's 4, not 4 on the list, but it's 4.
Thornton.
3 for him.
Kane.
2 for Kane.
Whoa, halfway there.
It's not as hard as you think.
Marchand.
No, we just won. Everybody is yes. Malkin has 3. Everybody think, by the way.
Oh yeah, I figured that much. Kucherov.
He has 2. Missing 2, and you should get it in seconds once you.
I am missing 2.
Yes, you are. You're missing 1 with 4 and 1 with 2.
1 with 4 and 1 with 2. McDavid.
Yes, he has 9, and the reason why is because he has 98 points. He's on the brink of his 5th NHL 100-point season. I was going to go into the whole thing about players that have more than 5 100-point seasons, blah blah blah, and then I was looking at the list, and it came out to like 15 different players. Like, that's just too convoluted and too long of an answer. So I don't get one.
And Draisaitl.
Yes, I saw those 2. Very good. Told you it was very hard. It was nice season 1 to get you all wound up there.
One wrong guess though. Martin.
Hey, you said
Marchand just does everything to piss me off, including making me give wrong answers.
Yes, I know. Welcome. We should say goodbye on that little banner.
Well, on that note, thank you to everybody who took the time to listen. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Click and comment as well. Want to thank you, send thank yous or say thank you to LaBrosse Brewery and Cunningham's Pub, and to you, Sean Campbell, for being great.
Oh, that's nice. You're pretty swell too.